At last count, there were 23 Democratic presidential hopefuls for the 2020 campaign, each with their own plans for the economy. It can be dizzying, which is why, thankfully, Yahoo Finance's Rick Newman has been analyzing and grading their economic policies, and he joins us now. And so, Rick, the latest you looked at, Senator Elizabeth Warren's policy. So I'm going to start with the glass half full. Yep. Which of her policies received an A, if any?
I gave her an A on one policy, and that is shaking up lobbying, basically lobbying reforms. One example is if you retire as a member of Congress, you cannot go and become a lobbyist. So she wants to basically close the revolving door. I think that would help reduce what is basically legalized corruption in the lobbying industry with corporate interests that have so much power in Washington. So that got an A. I'll give you a couple ideas that I gave a B to. Universal child care, that would be expensive, but it would really help working class, lower income families with child care. She wants to close something known as the entrepreneurship gap, which is a giant gap in funding that's available between white-owned businesses and minority-owned businesses. Minority-owned businesses just get a fraction of the funding white-owned businesses do. And more affordable housing. That would be a government program, but she actually wants to use the power of the government to decrease regulations in some localities to make it easier to build. So that's the only instance I found where Elizabeth Warren favors reducing regulation. Okay. In many other areas, she favors more regulation.
Rick, should CEOs be absolutely terrified of Elizabeth Warren? And I'm asking that because she proposed a 7% tax on all corporate profits above $100 million. And also, she wants to hold CEOs, I think, a lot more accountable than they have been over the past few years.
Yeah, two different things. So she has two plans for raising new revenue. The one you referred to, she calls the real corporate profits tax, and that would be a 7% surcharge on income above $100 million. She says that would only apply to about 1,200 large companies. And her idea there is that there are so many loopholes companies use to get out of paying taxes that if you raise the corporate tax rate, companies are just going to use the loopholes and not end up paying the taxes. I think companies should be concerned about that. She also,
sounds real devastating.
Yeah, and we're going to need more revenue at some point, and that's one place. She also wants to tax multimillionaires. That would be a tax on wealth rather than income. That is very hard to do because who knows how much a family's worth.